since a few people have asked about exercises that you can do that are slightly PRI influenced, and by PRI influenced, I would say that the meaning of that is if you are someone who has a potential to be patterned into that left AIC or right BC pattern, really left AIC, well, yeah, both. There are certain things you can do, and I call them PRI calls them references, which are the left heel and the right arch, and you can incorporate those into exercises. Now there's a couple other things that you can do, and instead of just listing them, because they're really not going to make a whole lot of sense, I'm actually going to watch myself doing an exercise that I filmed. It's kind of like a single leg deadlift, not a Romanian deadlift, a single leg deadlift, because my back foot, the non-working foot, will be against the wall. And so that knee will be bent at 90 degrees, and it's obviously going to be a single leg stanced deadlift. Now the degree of movement is small, so it's not a lot of knee flexion, because again I want the emphasis to be on the posterior chain, the hamstrings and the glutes. And in reality, I felt my glutes a lot. I didn't feel a whole lot of hamstrings. I felt the glutes quite a bit, because really only from about maybe a quarter, it's almost like a single quarter leg squat up to into extension of the hip. But you'll feel it in your glutes. At least, I'm sorry, yeah, in your glutes. At least that's what I felt. So I'm just going to narrate it. I'm going to watch it, I'm going to narrate it, and then I'm just going to superimpose it upon what you're hearing me say. So I'm going to start it here, and I'm just going to narrate kind of what I'm doing. So you'll notice that my right foot is behind me, my left foot's in front. I am sensing my left heel. My right arm is slightly in front of my left arm, and what you can't see is, well, so the right arm slightly in front of the left arm actually orients my lower spine slightly to the left, and that will give me maximum compression over that left hip joint. And I'm also closing down my left side just slightly, so my left hand is slightly lower than my right hand. And that helps me keep my left ZOA. And now I'm switching over to the right leg, and I was exhausted, and that's a 30-pound kettlebell. It didn't take a lot for me. Now, there's really not a whole lot of difference, except that my left hand is slightly forward compared to my right hand. Actually, my right hand is back quite a bit more than my left hand was. And on this one, I am sensing the arch of my right foot. I would say some heel also, so arch back to midfoot, I'm sorry, arch back to heel of the right foot. You'll also notice that I was keeping my back round, not round, I would say unlocked. I would say I wasn't purposely keeping my back round. I was keeping myself out of extension. Let's put it that way. So you're not going to see a deep arch. If you see a deep arch, I'm going to go into that anterior pelvic tilt, and that's counterproductive. So does that mean I can't use as much weight? Because usually when you're taught to deadlift or squat or anything like that, you keep a strong arch. That can be very counterproductive for people who are prone to these extension patterns. I will not do very well if my back goes into strong extension as I'm doing this exercise. Plus, I'll start to feel my lower back way too much. So I am not flexing my spine necessarily. I am attempting to keep it as neutral as possible and out of extension. That's the way I'm going to put it. I did not feel my back. All I felt was my glute. I'm good to go. And that's really it. Sensing the heels, keeping the left rib cage and pelvis slightly closer together regardless of the foot that you're doing. When I'm doing the right foot, I'm not side bending to the right to keep the right ZOA. You're never going to lose the right ZOA. You lose the left ZOA. So, and if you don't know what ZOA is, you'll look it up, because if you don't have a ZOA, you don't have anything. All right, so I'm always keeping myself, even when I'm on my right leg, I'm still keeping my left ZOA. I'm just keeping my left hand a little bit lower than my right hand, even though my left hand is forward compared to my right hand. And that will orient my spine It'll keep it relatively straight, but it will give a little bit of rightward orientation. That's fine. Again, I am focusing on left heel when I'm doing my left foot, and I'm focusing on the arch of my right foot back towards the heel on the right when I'm doing the right foot. And that is how you would make an exercise like this more PRI friendly-ish. Or if you struggle with extension, this is how you can not extend. And you'll actually probably feel muscles better like this than you would if you were in strong extension.